Okay.
Let's and path of API people people, and I'm gonna add
Mm,
a postman here.
we're making a new server request. Okay. Okay. Uh, Postman. Post request. App dot post API. Oops. Because I guess this counts as an API too. And what? Res. Wait, hold on. Right, res. Okay. And I guess we're sending an object or a JSON. I don't know what the fuck we're sending.
Or you know what? Let's do it this way. Let's go postman, and then people, like so. And then as far as the callback function,
People.
again, we get rec, res, and then in the body, again, I'm gonna be looking
Okay.
for the name property. So I wanna get that name. So I'm gonna say that I'm expecting it. We'll go with name, rec, dot body. Again, if you wanna console log the body, you can do so. But I think we have done that quite a few times, so I'm gonna omit that. Then I'll copy and paste my error response. So again, if the name is not provided, meaning if the property is not there or if it's just empty, I'm sending back the 400. However, if I'm successful, then I'm just gonna take my array, I'll add that extra person, and I'll send it back. Now I'm not gonna add the ID. I'll leave that one blank because eventually database will do that for us.
So we're doing the same exact thing we did before, basically, except we're going to be using a different route. Alright. Actually, this time I'm not going to check if it's in that array. I'm just going to send it. We're going to have this. If it doesn't exist, if the person did not type anything, why the fuck? I like how I hit copy, and when I hit paste, it doesn't paste what I just copied. I hate this keyboard so fucking much. Okay. Right. Else, I want this. Wait, no, wait. This. Copy. Paste. So if there is no name, send back an error. If there is a name, what are we doing? We're going to be sending back this. Watch. So what's going to end up happening is, let me refresh this. What will happen is, how it works is, I don't even use this. I don't type into there. But what will happen is, I'm going to type a name into where I'm going to type it, and then it will appear here. So, hit save. Come over here, change this to Postman people. Then, yeah, you could say Sarah, that's fine. What will happen is it'll send this object back. Where will it send that object? Hold on. Actually, it's not going to do that. Actually, it's not going to do that. It's just going to display it right here because we don't have any posts set up over here to... Does that mean we need to put the post here too? The post we have here is this one. Now I could change this to that post. That might do it. I think probably that's what he's going to do. Let's do that. Post man. Okay, save that. Because this is for the form, but we're just not going to use the form. Post man, put that there. Okay. Now what did that do? Anything? Nothing. Great. Perfect. Now it's put in there, and we're going to add Sarah to it. We're going to use Sarah. Sarah's been used before. She's okay with it. All right. Just double checking everything. So I said send. Success, true, because it is a name, so it's going to say it's successful. And now I come over here. Ah, I didn't do it. Why didn't it do it? Well, you get this at least. Well, hold on. Let me do it again. What was that? Did I just miss something? Is my computer about to die? Alright, let's try Sarah one more time. Hit submit. There you get the request. It's 201. It was successful. I wish I could do something with that. Stupid thing. Now I don't even know where my damn fucking thing went. What the hell? Where did the request go? Whatever. I got a preview. Yeah, that's what I sent. Oh, it did add it. See? It's right there. I was right. Okay. Now it's working. Now it randomly works. Okay. So it sent it. Good. So now we've made that, which would be the same as if I did it here, except we're just doing it from this thing instead, which is fine. I don't understand the point of this
I
exercise.
don't really see the point of doing that manually. So I'm gonna go back to my API Postman people, and then again, this is my error response. And now let's copy and paste our status. And then instead of sending that one person we created, why don't we do this? Why don't we go with data? And then of course the array name is people. And now as you can see, I'm using the spread operator, and I'm just gonna add that one single person. So I'll save. Now of course we do need to change the route, single person. You can see
Streamer mode is enabled. Stay safe, friend. Is that what I got in it? I don't want to be streamed on this other application. What the hell? Am I streaming on this right now? Bruh.
I'm using the spread operator, and
We're watching
I'm
you
just
stay
gonna add
safe.
that one
Wink.
single person. So I'll save. Now of course we do need to change the route. So it's not gonna be API, it's gonna be Postman, and then people, like so. Now let's add, for example, Peter, and then the moment I click send, there it is. I have my success true, and as far as data, all the way somewhere should be Peter as well. So again, we just grab that Peter, and then we add it.
Okay, cool. That was awesome. Let's put all this back. We don't want that anymore. API people still good. Let's keep that there. And now what will happen is let's do a different name. Let's do Peter, I guess. And we'll still get this here. Except nothing will change here. And let's do one more time. Send. Should it be showing up here? No, because it's not connected. This has to do with API people. This thing is just on its own. Right.
To our array. Hopefully this makes sense. And now, of course, we can work on other HTTP methods as well. All right, and once we're familiar with Postman, now let's work on the other two methods. So now we're going to be working on put method as well as the delete. So I'm going to scroll down.
Okay, let's go over put method again. Postman. That's pretty self-explanatory. Honestly, that's pretty self-explanatory. There's nothing complicated here. I'm gonna go to close that. Close that. Open a new one. Google Docs 16. Put request, I guess.
And below the post login route.
And that's for updating data.
App,
okay.
And then put. Now, again, this method is for editing the data. So put method is for update. And again, the convention is following, where if we have a list, for example, in this case, that would be API and orders. If we want to edit or delete, we go with our route parameter.
If we want to edit and delete, we go with our route parameter.
Where effectively we set up a route for API orders, and then we go with :ID, and this is going to get me that one specific item.
Okay.
Now, please keep in mind one thing, where this is a convention. So technically, there are multiple other ways how you can set it up, but there's a reason why that convention exists, and that's why throughout the course, we will stick with this convention. I'll cover the official name of this convention a little bit later, as well as a bit more details about it. For now, I just quickly want to cover both of the methods. So I'm going to navigate back. I have my put method that is for modifying the data. And in our case, what is the URL for the whole list? Of course, that is API people. So this was just for testing, right?
Sorry, Postman put request. Okay. Put. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. I guess we're doing it that way. I thought we were going to use Postman.
And then we go with API /, and then we go with people. And then, of course, I also want to add that ID. So this is going to get me that one specific item. And again, the reason why we're
People that teach coding are not very good at teaching coding. Well, that's okay. Post. He's using the same ones, but okay. Yeah. And what are we gonna do here?
we're doing that because when we'll send our put or delete requests, we'll send to a specific path. So this is going to be that one item. And if that item exists, then in the body, there's going to be data to update, or in
Okay. What we're looking at is this. We've brought this over. Well, this is the same fucking shit I did before. We brought this over to this. Okay, and it's in a... But we also just have people, so we're gonna have to look at people. We destructured, we got people out of data JSON, people's getting pulled out of data JSON, so now it's still this array of objects here at this point, and then we just got only the name property out of that array of objects, and now we have just an array of names on its own called names. But we can work with people too, which has the ID that we're looking for, because we're doing this on an ID. Where am I at? Here. I'm just a little bit confused about what exactly we're doing.
In the case of delete, there's going to be nothing in the body. We'll just remove that item. And you'll see how it works in a second. So please be patient.
Okay.
So we're going to go with people. And then remember, again, we have route params. And in this case, I'm not going to call this person ID. I'm just going to say ID. Just remember that we can call it technically whatever we would want. And now in this case, there's two things that I'm looking for. First, I want to get the value here in the params. And remember, we access that using
So what is one of them? One of them is ID2 and name Peter. Okay. So oops. Okay.
the rect params. And the second thing, when it comes to update, when it comes to the put request, I'm also going to send something in the body. Why? Well, because if I'm updating, for example, if I'm changing the name from Peter to Susan, or
What if you're just deleting something? Azure update.
Or whatever. Of course, and you also need to supply this value. So you need to understand that there's two sides of this request. Not only we're looking for that specific item, that's why we use the params. That's why I specifically say, hey, I would like to get the item number 1 or an item number 2. I also need to supply this value because otherwise, what's the point of updating something? So let's access both of those things. Let's say that I'm
Okay. See here, I have this. These are the params, name and ID. So what am I doing? This is my request here. This is the body of my request. So what am I doing? It's going to have an ID in it. So what am I doing in the server? I'm saying deconstruct out of that body the ID param. Rec params are these two things. Okay. Wait a minute. Hold on. Why is this one body and this one params? What's the difference there? I need to go back and look. I don't know. What's the difference in params and body? Doody-doo. Now I have to figure out how to use Google. La la la, nothing matters. La la la. Here it is. Anywhere. More locations. I'd like to look in this folder, please. Select. And I'm looking for params. Where is it? Route parameter. Parameter object. Oh, the colon. Oh, I see. So this is like a specially identified thing in the route URL. Right. Okay. See, we haven't done this since slide 12. All right. And that goes in there. And what am I doing? Product.id. What are we doing here? You're just getting an array out of the data.json again, or data.js, and you're just mapping certain properties of that array into a new array. You're mapping those properties only into this array, and then you're saying respond with a new array, and there it is. Okay. So this is where we're treating ID like a property, and we're just we're building this whole thing for product one. Just for product one. Okay, for that URL. But what we want is one declaration like this that matches up a product ID here instead of one specified number. We just want to say ID, so that in any case, whether or not we're looking for 1, 2, 3, without having to do a bunch of these. And that's the point of route parameters. So let me see if I still understand this. So instead we set up a route parameter. Instead of giving a number, we use a colon to indicate that we want to add a parameter object. Add a parameter object to our request object. Okay, so a whole separate object inside of these. Inside of our request object, okay? And we're saying check that separate object. Check this separate object for what it has, or something, right? And then make an ID. Deconstruct that separate object out of it here. So this replaces this. And this little plus just turns it into a, see how it makes it a string for some reason? Plus turns it back into a number, because when you make it into when you do this, product ID, okay. How am I searching though? It's a little bit fucking confusing. I'm not gonna lie. The more you think about it, the more you're like, wait, what? And what's today? Today's just another day. Today's just one more fucking day of nothing, of literally nothing. So I created this instead of giving a number. Okay, so then if we make a call, say to this get request, to this get URL or whatever, say it's here. We've already made one. Thought, maybe not. We got rid of it. No, it's right here. Well, that's the one we're building. Never mind. We did do it before, but that's okay. I'm not worried about it. But anyways, so we make a call to this URL from our, I guess we're going to do it from Postman. And we use this URL. It's not going to say product, it's just going to say ID. And we feed it a, here's my ID right here. He hasn't said that, but I'm assuming that's what we're going to do. And here we're assigning it. Here we're assigning it rec params. Did we do that back here? I wonder if this was empty before. No, console log rec params. Console log rec object. This is me console logging the rec object, the entire rec object. Console, this is kind of sort of why it's confusing, because I'll get it refigured out this go around, but I shouldn't have left this part in here, because this was blank at this point because it hadn't been assigned. Or maybe it had been assigned. I think it had been assigned. It had been assigned, actually. But how did it get assigned? I don't understand. If I send that to that, and I don't put anything in here, I just say :ID, it knows that that's rec params. So does it automatically look for the ID at that point or something? How did we do it before? No, this is products. This is the products one. So when I did that before, I mean, this is on the server. I should really have that over there, but whatever. Whatever. No, it doesn't matter. Put it back. Okay. It has an ID. And all I did was I made up a variable called product ID. When I made the request, like, what did the request look like? So it says products 3 right there. Products 3. So if I do that, this is a GET request. So it's automatically calling. This is how to have a single page. Okay. Okay, so instead of individually setting, I think I see now. Instead of individually setting URL, because this is like what goes in the URL. So instead of setting, so we have like, what did we have? 4 products? Instead of having 4 of these declarations right here, where we make a spot for each possibility of the URL being 1, 2, 3, 4, and specify that here. Instead, we use this. That way, when we do put a number in the URL, we're not going to be putting colon product ID in the URL. It's not going to work that way. It doesn't work that way. What it will work as is you'll put a number in the URL just like you did here. And when you do that, it will call this get request and it will know that that one or whatever number you chose that you put in your URL, it will know at that point that that goes in this rec parameter, okay? Is that right? So in this instance, I must have said 4. Because I put a 4 here. This is the request. This is the bottom of the request. That's what I don't get. It's like, oh, okay, so whatever you actually end up using as your name for your request parameter here, whatever you use, it could be product ID, it could be whatever. That's what they're going to use as, that's automatically going to get put as your property for the request. There's a lot going on here. I should have explained this better. So anyways, that's why. I'm like, where is it getting this though? But it actually pulls it directly from whatever you set it as here. I got you. So over here, if I were to console log request, you would see ID in a little box like this. Because here we said ID. Okay. And then we would be destructuring that out of there. On this line. Okay, I just need to review this a little bit. Maybe I need to make some different notes here. Clarify these a little bit. Um, mhm. God damn it. Of the uh okay. Okay, that makes sense again. All right. Okay. I believe that makes sense. Let's go back to what I was doing. You made that. It says rec params as a player. We're making a thing called ID this time. Just to say API. Why did he say it like that? What did we actually do to make the request? This. Products for, we did it in the URL. We did it in the URL. It looks like that. The hello world does not matter at all. That's not part of it at all. So just ignore that. But we put it in the URL here. So here we have two of them. Products, product ID. Right, so whatever number appears in the, after the products, right, and the URL is matched. That's what I just got done saying. So this is 3, so here's an example, 3. I don't understand what the point of this was. Reviews ABC. Nigga, what? Reviews ABC. This is not a put request, this is a get request. Yeah, it's the rec param. Okay. So it's getting put into the rec params of the request. Here we're not searching. We're not searching what's already there. We're not searching what's already there. We're just saying put this in the request. There's nothing to search called review ID. We're not going to be able to look in this object and look for a review ID. We were able to look for product ID and say find the product ID that matches the rec param we created that we searched on with this 3. We were able to match them up because it has an ID here. Okay. And here I'm just demonstrating whatever you add onto it, you can just have a lot of them. You can just have a lot of them, I guess. It's hard for me to envision this. But you could say, okay, take me to an individual page with product ID 4, and it would match it up here. It would take you to that page. Also, within that product page, there's a review section, reviews section, and we only want to look at the review, the particular review with that ID. So then you say review ID. And so really you're no longer on the products page, you're really on the IDs now. I mean, you're really on the reviews. Okay. Whatever. Let's just keep going.
I'm gonna get the ID from rec params. So this is gonna tell me which item. And then the second thing, params. So this is gonna tell me which item. And then the second thing, since of course I want to update that item, I need that value as well, correct? So we're gonna go here with const, and I'm gonna be again looking for the name, and we'll say reg.body, and
Slow fucking down, man. Reg body. Okay. And what? There's the ID, there's the thing. That's that. And what are we doing? I matched it up before here. Hold on, where? Where did it go? Here. Okay. We're gonna be looking at the people things. It's the one that says people up here. If I could fucking type. People dot find person, and we want the person whose ID matches ID. And what do we want to do at that point? What do we want to do? Rec body name. So basically we're changing the name. So we're going to change it from Peter to something crazy. You want, so then you say person dot name, because now we have the person. We're going to assign it name, that name, whatever one got sent with the request. Don't we need a resolve in here somehow? How do we do the resolve before? Res JSON. We're not sending back a JSON. Although we could, I guess. Res JSON. Person. Yeah, person. Okay. Watch this. I think that's where he's going with it, but let me see. Now, so see how it says okay, the ID. He's doing it like that. Put request. Yeah, you wouldn't put that in the URL. That's what I don't understand. Put request. You need to say, I could be wrong, but let's just keep going. All right. And guess what? We're going to change it to what? Luigi. How about that? and it's going to say ID2, and we're going to say, and I guess this would be how you would change somebody's, I don't know, account name. If they want to change their account name, they would go in and do it, and then this would happen. It would find their password or whatever their user ID is, which would be a lot more complicated than 2. But it would find it. It would be unique to the database. It would find it doing this and say, okay, there's a match on the ID. Good, we're good to go. And then whatever got submitted as the change they want would be applied to their name. I really have no idea, honestly. It's probably going to fail because I don't. Right, anyway.
Be again looking for the name, and we'll say reg.body, and that's it. That should do it. So these are the 2 values that we're going to get from our request. And just to make things interesting, I will console log them right now. So I'm going to go back to the Postman, and remember, we need to change the URL. It's not going to be API Postman. In this case, it is going to be people. And now you can select any of the IDs, whether that's 1 all the way up to the 5. So we go here with 1, and then as far as the value, what is the value for the first one? It is John. So kind of makes sense if I'm updating that I go with Peter, correct? So we have put request, we have API, and then people. And then check it out. The moment we send it, now of course the request is hanging, don't worry about that, but in the console, we should get API, people, and then the ID. And of course, the reason why I don't see anything, because I was smart enough and I didn't console log anything. So I'm gonna go back with ID name, and you know what, for time being, let me just send back hello world. Okay, let's go here. Enough, and I didn't console log anything. So I'm gonna go back with ID name, and you know what, for time being, let me just send back hello world. Okay, let's go here. Let's actually send it.
Okay, forget all of this. Just do res send hello world, I guess. And how did he search it?
Time, as you can see, okay?
1 named Peter. Peter is not 1. I don't really understand, but okay. I guess I'll get rid of that. People 2. Did I save? Yeah. Send. Nothing's happening. I mean, what is really happening right now? I'm sending this. It's getting taken in by this, right? We don't have any other gets. How does it know to do? Okay, put. Okay, so yeah, it's definitely getting sent here. my params are request. Well, it's not in there. I didn't provide the params. Wait, yeah, I did. 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 They're in there. It's this 2. What's in my request body right now is a little thing that says ID, and it might be viewable. I was gonna say it might be, maybe not. Raw, pretty, visualize. Okay, no. Anyways, because this is what's getting sent back. This is what I'm sending. Anyways, 2. Yeah, 2 is getting sent, is being put into a little route parameter object in the request body next to the property called ID, because that's what I called it in my declaration here. So I run it with 2, it activates this put request. And I'm not telling it to do anything with that information. All I'm saying is, all we're doing right now is verifying that the request connected, which it did.
Let's go here.
Big whoop.
Let's actually send it one more time.
See, he says a million things, and I think I'm falling behind, but he was really not doing much.
As you can see, could not get the response. That was the error. Let's actually send it one more time.
So now what's going to happen? Now we're console logging these. I am sending a name. I'm not sending. No, the ID will be there too. The name will be Luigi. I like that name, Luigi. 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 Okay. This is getting the send. Where's the, oh, here it is. Right, it's right here. To Luigi. Okay. Big whoop.
Time, as you can see, could not get the response. That was the error this time. In this case, I am getting hello world, so that worked beautifully. And as you can see, the status code is 200 as well. And then in the console, I have 1 and I have the Peter. So this is going to be the ID.
So what he says and what it shows on the screen is not timed up correctly.
Now, if I'll change it, of course, if I'll say number 2, and if I'll send it again, I get back my response, and now the value for the ID is 2. Hopefully this makes sense. So now, of course, at this point, we need to set up the logic. Again,
right.
We are going to set up the logic with our local data, with our people array. Eventually, in next examples.
I thought I understood how to do that. Okay, so that's what I did the first time. Rec params. I put in 2 there. Okay. I'm putting put in 2. And then, yeah, the 2 is the ID. You don't need that. But then I have name. So what do? You match up but that doesn't work. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah. I'm gonna have to, I'm going to have to, yeah. But that's pretty much, that was on the table a long time ago. $65? Look how clean it is. Anyways. Okay. Let's just figure out what he does.
Will work actually with database, but the main idea is exactly the same. Where from the postman, while we're testing, we're sending the ID in the URL. Basically, we add that URL parameter.
Correct.
And then in the body, we'll send the value.
Right.
So that part won't change. Just the functionality in here.
Okay.
And as far as this functionality, well, since we have a simple JavaScript array, first I would just want to get the person with that ID. If the person doesn't exist, then I'll send back the error response. And if
say if I don't ever remember to do this part. If the person doesn't exist, except we'll say that person, that ID is not recognized. Recognized. Okay. Else that's the request body. Yeah, no wonder it doesn't work. Hold on. Request body. We got the name out of the request body, which is that. We're not putting it back in the request body name. We're putting it in the I don't know. It's that line though. I don't know how we're gonna do it. Person.name. I would have thought. You find the person with the ID. On console log person, then watch this. Just console log it real quick. Just to verify that it happened. It is, you know. And sure, you can make it a res send as the resolution, it doesn't matter. I would like to comment this out, you fucking piece of fucking shit. May I please use the goddamn computer, please? And now it's like you lose your focus because the fucking buttons on the goddamn fucking keyboard don't fucking work. Okay, what was I just doing? Okay, I would like to comment that out as well. Thank you. Now, you find the person that has that ID. If they exist. If they don't exist, send back that message. If they do exist, console log that person. And I don't really know what that's going to do. It should give me an object. It should console log an object, I would think. So here's 2. There is a person with the ID of 2. So it gets the 2 out of the rec params. Then it checks that number 2 against the people array. Of the person IDs. And if it finds a person that matches that ID, it'll... Okay. Ready? Did not work. That ID is not recognized. So it's already not working. Let me think. What am I missing? This is what got triggered. So I did the logic wrong somehow. Oh, you know why? You know why? You know why? You know why? This is why. There's a plus sign on my keyboard somewhere. Let's try to fucking find it. Alright, here we go. Now it changes it back to a number, because it changed it to a string before. Because that's another thing it does, which is super fun. Let's try it again. Good. Good, it found it. And it console logged it. Alright, so then you come in here. Get rid of this, we don't need that. We do need this. Paste. So now I'm changing what I'm going to be doing now. See how there's a name part of this thing that I found? I'm now going to be replacing Peter with the name that was in the request body, which is Luigi, which is just a better name altogether. I mean, let's be honest. Okay, save again. So as long as it can find an ID that matches, it'll change the name that's associated with that ID. So what should I, how should I do my resolve or response? What should I send back? Still just a hello world? I don't know. How about just console log person? Yeah, let's just console log person, whatever. Here we go, ready? Yeah, no, it says Luigi. Okay, edited it. Okay.
The ID does exist, then I'll just change the value. Now, I'm not going to be looking for the error message if the value is not provided. We're going to cover that once actually we work with database. I think it's just going to be, at the moment, waste of our time. So let's do it, people. I'm going to remove both of these console logs. Hopefully you understand how we supply both values in the Postman. And I'm going to start by creating a person. And this is going to be equal to people dot find. Again, I have the array, so I have access to all the array methods. And then if the person ID matches to my params ID, then of course I'm going to get the person. Now let me check in the data. Notice I still have it as a number. So I'll have to change the type as well. So I'll say if person ID is equal to a number, and I'll pass in the ID that I'm getting from my params, whether that's 1, 5, or maybe it's going to be ID that doesn't make sense. All right, good. And if the person doesn't exist, well, then I'll send back the response. Now, again, in order to say,
I did that. I did that. All right, he's on a different one.
save us a little bit of time. I'll scroll up and I'll look for any of my error
Okay.
messages since I just want to copy and paste
Now, see, he uses the number thing. I just use the plus. I think the plus looks better.
and change some values around. So in this case, I'm going to look for this name. If it doesn't exist, then of course we have the error.
Now it's a 404. I can't remember what all the error numbers mean individually. It's just so much goddamn fucking information. It's insane.
And in our case, of course, we just need to change it around. If the person doesn't exist, so if we cannot find that in the array, then we're sending back 404. Remember, that was the status code if we cannot find the resource. And as
So what's 400 status code for? We'll get to that. I mean, hold on. Thanks. I don't need this anymore either. I would like to go back to where I was before I searched, please. Google, you fucking kill me sometimes. Okay. Status codes. I could just do this again, I guess. I don't know. Where's the folder location? Oh, that makes sense. Thanks for saying location instead of folder. Because we don't think of things as folders, do we? It even says create a new folder. But then you want to call it location. Okay. Oh yeah, status codes. Status. Search. Is it in here? Possibly. Possibly. No. Anything? No. I see one thing about it. And 400 means. What does it mean? It's not there. It's not there at all. No, 404 means it's not there. What does 400 mean? I mean, I could just Google this. But I don't want to see if I have it in my notes. Unauthorized. It means unauthorized. And I'm not going to go get into all that. I'm not reading that thing again. Get myself all confused. Oh, stay right here. So he wants to send back.
As far as the response, we have success, and of course it's going to be false. And now let's.
What does he want to send back? My guess is he wants to send back another JSON called. This would be my guess. Instead of doing this, and instead of doing that, we're gonna do this. Well, we're gonna do. And I also don't really understand the return thing fully. I need to review that again, but whatever. Would be true. And then what? What do we want to send here? It's a JSON object, and you just send back the person. Can you do that? Yeah. Yeah. Sure, why not? Person. Would that do it? Save. So now, let me see. I'm gonna change it to Luigi again. It already is Luigi, but I'll just change it to Luigi one more time. Alright, we can change it to something else then. Change it to Theodore. No, it says Theodore. I'm starting to get hungry. What time is it? Going on 9. That makes sense then. Okay.
go with message, and in the message, we're going to use a template string. We'll say no person with ID, and then I'm just going to pass in the ID. So that's the first response. If, of course, the person doesn't exist. So if in the params we enter, for example, value 6, we know that we have only 1 to 5, or ABC. Now the second thing, if the person doesn't exist,
He just said or ABC. Why did he just say or ABC?
now, of course, I just want to iterate over the array, and the person only 1 to 5, or ABC. Now the second thing,
Or ABC. What the fuck you talking about? Go to 12 again? Just, yeah, get out of that. I'd like to go to this. So say that again.
doesn't exist. So that's the first response. If, of course, the person doesn't exist. So if in the params we enter, for example, value 6, we know that we have only 1 to 5.
So the request parameters really just hold anything. But see, we're looking for ID. He just said ABC. ABC. This will not get triggered by an ABC. Because ABC is a review ID. If we said a review ID, then it would get triggered. But we don't have that.
Or ABC. Now the second thing,
that was a dumb thing to say.
If the person doesn't exist, now of course I just want to iterate over the array, and for that specific person, for the person whose ID matches my params value, I'll change the name, since I'm expecting that one to be in the body. Again, we're not going to deal with this error for now. We'll do that once we work with database. And we're going to go with new people here, and we'll say people map. So I'm iterating over my array again. I'll reference each and every person as a person, and I'll say if person ID matches to that one, I have in the params, so number ID again. again. Then I'm going to say person name, since that is the only other property I have, is equal to my name. Now, where I'm getting the name, of course, I'm getting it from the body. So
The
if
request
the ID of the person matches to that one in the params, then please change the name that I can find in the body. If not, then simply return a person. Return a person. And now, of course, all the way in the bottom, I'm going to go with res dot status, and then we're sending back 200 since the request was successful. As far as the JSON, we go with success, or sorry, not super. We're going to go with success true. And then as far as data, well, now I'm sending back the new people. So let's go back. At this point, I have 2. So let me change it back to 1 because I know for sure that first value was John. So again, the path is API, people, and then ID of 1. And I just want to change it from John to Peter. So let me double check. In data, this should be John. It's a good thing I didn't go with the ID of 2 since that one is already Peter. So now let me send it and check it out. Now I have success true, and data, of course, is my array. And instead of name being
Oh. Well, I mean, I can show the whole thing, I guess. Right. Why would I show the whole thing? I don't really know.